we've got eyes and we've got some ears going on. These Labradoodle puppies are 3 weeks old. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and this is our week 3 update for our sweet fusion litter. These are mini Australian Labradoodles, and in today's video we are going to talk about ears opening. We're going to talk about what's happening next in these Labradoodle puppies' lives, because it's going to be a big change that's coming up. And we'll also do an update on Mama Bachi, and we're going to talk a little bit about desensitization. So let's start off first of all with Mama Bachi and how she's doing. She's doing great. She's still her funny little self. She's very much involved with everybody's lives in the house. It doesn't matter if it's a person or one of the other dogs. Bachi is always curious and wanting to know what's going on with everybody all around her. She is a very social dog. She loves to go outside and explore. Her exploring tendencies are a little bit more far-flung than I'm comfortable with for a nursing mama dog. So when we take Bachi outside, she's on a leash. Our other mums, they go outside on their own, and they never stray outside of our front yard area, which is quite substantial. It has 2 different sides. They can run up and down, a good central area, lots of things to sniff and investigate. But for Bachi, that's not quite good enough, and so she likes to wander out and down the road. Now, it's not so much I'm worried about that she's going to go anywhere, because she's always going to come back for her babies. It's more that Bachi doesn't know anything about cars, and if we happen to have a delivery person roaring up here, she would have no idea how to get out of the way. So, safety first, and look at this little one here. This is a very good indication of what's happening with these puppies this week, which we'll get to shortly. But anyways, Bachi is a very gregarious girl, and she does like to be out and about. And if we're going to be unkind, we're going to say she's really nosy. And we do say that quite often, because she really is quite nosy. She also really enjoys in the evenings leaving the puppies and coming and sitting on our laps. Bachi is an attention hound. She hates it if she is not the center of attention. So this has been a real learning experience and a maturing process for her, having these puppies, because the puppies are sharing her limelight. She's used to garnering all the attention, turning the heads, and having everybody ooh and ah over her. So when somebody comes and spends some time, as we all do in here, and we want to see the puppies, she's very much pushes in and tries to get you just to notice her. Or she wants to go and do something else and see what's going on out in the household. So she's quite a funny little duck, but she is doing a good job. We do have to remind her still that she needs to come and lie down and feed the puppies. If there's anything going on, she will be distracted instantly. So we have to come and say, hey, don't forget, you've got the babies, you've got to feed them. And she'll be, oh, yeah, right. And this is an interesting feeding position that we're going on here. So one of the puppies here, little brown collar, is trying to sleep, and her brother Burgundy is splayed all over her to be able to get to that top spot at the milk bar there. Now you see when they're nursing, so when I came in, she was ignoring them, and I asked her to lie down like this. They've all been nursing for just since we started the video, and they're already all fallen asleep. So they're clearly not starving to death or feeling like they're particularly hungry. They don't gain weight as fast as some of the puppies do, but they're gaining just fine. Nothing to be concerned about. They are all a beautiful size. They all have these beautiful gleaming coats, which we really like to see. The shine in the coat is really indicative that they're doing well. Bachi herself has a gorgeous plush coat. It's still shiny. She has a good appetite. 99 times out of 100 when we give her food, she eats it all up on her own. Occasionally we have a couple of princess moments where she wants you to feed it to her, but generally that's just because being Bachi, she wants some more attention. not because she's not hungry. So she's doing really well with her eating, still up there in the large amounts. She's not fussy at all. It doesn't matter what I give her, she will eat it. And she's also enjoying all of her extra bones that she gets during the day. Now for the puppies, what's gone on this week is quite a remarkable change. Their ears have opened, and when last week I showed you a close-up of his closed ear, and you can see on this ear now that we have openings happening. This ear is not fully opened, but it's opened enough that this puppy is able to hear. This is Pink Collar Girl. She will lift her head up now. This is a puppy whose ear we looked at last week, and she also lifts her head up to when we come in and talk as well. The others whose ears are not opened quite as fully, when we, as a burgundy collar here, his ears are just starting to open. But if you clap your hands, or if you do a very high voice, he does hear that. He won't hear softer tones, just like when we're having a conversation. But if you do something, I'm talking about the puppies, I know. If you do something such as clapping, then he will lift his head up and go, okay, where's that sound coming from? Here, you just stay there. This is what I mean by trying to get her to focus. She wants me to pay attention to her. She's tired of sitting still. So we just encourage her and remind her that that is part of being a mom. I expect when Bachi goes home to her guardians, they will discover that she has matured a little bit. Perhaps not as much as some moms, but on the right path. It'll be a year before she has babies again, so by then we'll have quite a different mama, I expect. Although Bachi's basic personality is never going to change. And what is it? It's fun. It's one of the most fun personalities out of all the dogs we have. You can't help but smile when you're around Miss Bachi, right? Yeah, I know. Oh yes, don't touch the puppy. How rude of me to look at your puppy. So for the puppies, now that they can hear, a whole different world has opened up. They can see, they can hear, but more importantly than that, they can move around. Now, I can't show you too much because this box is pretty small. The big exciting news for these puppies in this upcoming week is they're going to move. This box is too small for them now that they're mobile. They don't need to be kept in an area where they can get to Bachi easily because they can find her with no trouble. They can walk on all fours now, so they're really quite mobile indeed. So we're going to take them out and we're going to move them into the Doodle Den. So what does that mean for these puppies? That's a huge change. It may not seem like such a big deal to you to go from this room to that room, but it's a completely different way of life for the puppies. They'll have more space, they'll be exposed to more sounds, they'll be exposed to more sights, and they'll be exposed to other dogs for the first time. Right now in here, they can smell Noisette and her puppies next door, but they can't see them. When they move into the Doodle Den, things will open up. They'll still be surrounded by walls to keep them secure. However, they'll be open enough that they can see out. So they'll be able to see Orca and her puppies, Belle and her puppies, and then about a week from now, Noisette and her puppies will move in there. So there's all the sounds and the sights that are going on in the Doodle Den. Also, the Doodle Den is where we feed all the adult dogs. So twice a day, all the adult dogs come in, they eat, and they go out. So that's something that is quite different and new for these puppies as well, because they've not had any interaction with any adult dogs other than Bachi. So it'll be a whole world, and of course you can imagine, as we've said all along, puppies rely more on scent than anything else. It's their olfactory sensations that give them all the information about the world. So when you go in the Doodle Den, just think of what an overwhelming explosion of information that must be for these little guys to take in, where it's like, oh, holy smokes, what does all of that mean? So it's a really big event. It's a big deal, and how it happens is really key. So like everything, we want to do this based on the natural tendencies of the dogs. We don't want to force anything. We don't want them going before they're ready. We don't want them to be uncomfortable. We don't want them to be traumatized. This is their first true desensitization experience. So we want it to be gradual, and we want it to be positive. So we make sure that the room is warm and cozy. We put down a mat just like the one that they're on right now. And then on top of that, we lay towels, and then we put pee pads on top of that. Now, part of that is to keep them warm, because the floor is usually not quite as warm as the air temperature. Being that it's June, we don't have to worry too much about them being cold. Right now, we actually have the air conditioner on in there, but we want the surface that they're on to be nice and comforting. And they're also going to have a bed in there. So they've never had a bed. They're old enough now to be able to recognize, even if the bed is just a blanket like this surface is different from this surface. That's the key to house training. It's not really about that you go outside to go to the bathroom when you're a dog. It's that you have a different surface you go on. So outdoors has a different surface to it than inside the house. So we start with the natural inclination to not go to the bathroom where you sleep and eat, and we give that area a different texture from the rest of the area where the puppies are. That way we're working on their natural tendency to move away from their nest, to go to the bathroom at somewhere else, and they're learning this is this texture, this is this texture. It's also going to smell somewhat different. So that is the foundation for house training with dogs. Now, lots of times people will say, geez, every time my dog throws up, I'm talking about adult dogs, every time my dog throws up, or every time my dog has diarrhea, it's always on my area rug, or it's always on the carpet, not on the tile or the hardwood. So why do dogs do that? It's that very reason, because your area rug or your carpet is a different texture. And to them, when they're in the house, that different texture reads as the appropriate place to throw up or have diarrhea, because they can't get outside in time. So if you're always wondering, well, why do they always do that? It's so annoying. That's why. And it's not because they're trying to wreck your carpet or anything like that. They're looking for that different texture and trying to find the place that they know is the appropriate place to go. So that's a little tip there for that. So that's the foundation for their house training that we're going to start on here. Thank you, Bachi. I do see you. Yes, this is what I mean about her being quite persistent and quite demanding. When she's out in our house and she's with our dogs. So my dog Ripple is also an attention hound, and she's very particular about who gets my attention. She does not like me to pay much attention to anyone else. Sometimes she'll just lie there with one eye open and watch. But when it's Bachi, who's equally as more demanding than Ripple for attention, right away Ripple's radar is up, and she's right there, and she'll butt in. She won't let Bachi able to jump up and sit on my lap. She'll come and position herself first, and she'll make Bachi go farther down on my lap or on the footstool. So it's quite funny to watch them. Ripple reprimands Bachi quite a bit. Bachi, though, doesn't seem to be at all offended by that. It certainly doesn't change her behavior any. But now back to the puppies. Once they're in the Doodle Den, this is what we want to see. We want them to transition into that new space so that when they're surrounded by all of these new stimuli, that they're still relaxed and they're calm and they're comfortable. So we will go about doing that in as calm and natural a way as we can. We will also spend more time just being in their room with them. We won't fuss over them. We won't be picking them up and making a big production over the fact that they've moved. It'll just be like this, where I'll be in there or whomever, and we'll just let them feel and sense that warmth and that level of support in the new environment. And then in the following week, we will start to introduce them to toys. We'll start to introduce them to playlists with barking dogs. We'll do all sorts, and we'll start to introduce them to solid food. So it's a huge change coming up for these puppies. The infant stage is over now at week 3. And from here on in, we start doing a lot of major things every single week. So we're on our way. We're going to be able to see now all of the puppies' eyes. They did all open after we did the week 2 update. And as I suspected, because they were a little slower opening their eyes, their ears opened really soon after their eyes did. So everybody's ears are either open or partially open. By Wednesday, everybody will be hearing completely. So that's probably the day that we'll do the move. I do like their ears to be completely open and them used to hearing sounds before we make the move. Usually what we'll do is we'll put Alexa on and we'll get them used to a few different sounds before we move them, so it isn't a big shock to go and hear something entirely different. So now let's go through what their current weights are, and let's show you all those beautiful blue eyes that we have. And keep in mind, these blue eyes will not stay blue. Puppies are born with blue eyes and then they transition. So orange collar girl here, because she's chocolate around her face, she's going to have brown eyes. The rest of the puppies are going to have hazel eyes. And pink collar girl here, or brown collar girl here, she's probably going to have very light hazel eyes because she has so much white on her. And then her other color is quite pale. So we're going to start with blue collar boy, who's our firstborn in the litter here. Yeah, Miss Brown's having quite the exercise time there. Ah, Blue. Ah, buddy, show everybody your pretty eyes. This little guy is such a pretty little caramel abstract boy here. Almost a tuxedo, but not quite. He definitely has that tuxedo style markings though on his face. And you can see already his color has changed. He's lightening up quite a bit. All of these puppies will likely lighten a fair bit because Bocce is what we call a dilute. And a dilute means that the color is lightened. When Bocce was a puppy, she was a dark chocolate like orange color girl is. And you can see here, this is a particularly good example. Underneath you can see this much lighter coat color. This is the color that this puppy is going to end up being, really blonde. So blue collar boy is now 934 grams. So he's just doing great. You can see that they're nice and healthy weight, beautiful puppies, nice shiny coats, lots of strength. There you go. You can see Mint walking there. That's what I'm talking about them being able to get around now. And one advantage to not being super chunky puppies is they are able to walk sooner because they have less weight they have to support. Next we have pink collar girl, and pink collar girl is the one I was saying is going to lighten right up and turn into a complete blonde. So where she has these white feet here, not foots, but feet, you probably aren't going to notice those anywhere near as much as you do now, because once she lightens up to this shade, you can see that they're very similar. It's not a lot of difference. So you can see the color lightening on her face as well, and you can see her pretty blue eyes. So she's probably going to have a very nice light hazel colored eye once she matures. I know, beautiful. And pink is 1.044 kilograms. So she has broken that 1 kilogram barrier. And you can see she can hear because she's looking for my face and trying to find out what the heck, where is that noise coming from. Bocce, what's the matter? Hey, shush. What are you fussing about? This is what Bocce does. She gets so involved in everyone else's business that she forgets to worry about her own. Yeah, that's just Noisette. She's been there the whole time you've been here. Yeah. Next we have orange collar girl. Orange collar girl is our chocolate and white party. This little girl, now as I said, she is probably going to lighten. It's not a positive because copper is not a dilute, but you can see Bocce's color, where she's this beautiful, beautiful, cool, milky chocolate color. And when she was a puppy, this is what she looked like, except for the fact that she has more brown on her body. This was the color she was. So this puppy may very well turn out to be exactly similar to Bocce. It's really pretty. I think the dilutes are absolutely stunning. They're unique. Each one of them is slightly different. And there's no real name for this color that Bocce is other than super cool and really pretty. And Miss Orange is 1.113 kilograms. This is making her the largest puppy in the litter. And you can see that she does have a fairly chunky little body there. She also has pretty good eye contact. She knows to look for me now. She understands my voice. She recognizes me when I come in. And she always gives me a little perk up of the head and going, oh, is the lady here? Next we have Burgundy Collar, who was at first a girl and is now a boy. Haha, that was my mistake. I made the mistake when he was born. Oh my goodness, we better not tell him so he doesn't get a complex. This is our little mini Copper. He looks just like his dad with the dark red caramel, the white and the curls. Talk about cute. Oh, he's just adorable. I love this little guy. He also really reminds me of Copper in terms of his personality. He's gentle, he's quiet, he's very, very much of a sweet, sweet boy. And now Bocce has decided she's going to buy something on my phone. Purple, or Burgundy, I mean, is 1.098 kilograms. So he's also doing great in the weight department. Then we have Little Mint. And this is, no, you're blue. Little Mint has just gone in to get something to eat. I'm just going to leave him, her rather. This is her here. She is also a dark red caramel. And if we pick her coat up and we look underneath, we don't see lighter. So it's quite possible that rather than having the dilute gene that Bocce has, she does not have it. She would have maybe one copy and then the other one would not be there from Copper. So she may stay this darker shade. And Mint Collar is 911 grams. She is the smallest puppy in the litter. So we got 3 of them that are over a kilogram and 3 of them that are just hovering at that 1 kilogram mark. And then last but not least, we've got our little lamb. I think we should call her Mary. This is brown collar girl. She just looks so much like a little lamb, I tell you. I don't think you could have a cuter puppy. There's just something so appealing about this little face with the curls and the white and then the caramel, and look at those blue eyes. They're really vividly blue right now. It'd be really cool if blue eyes were not indicative of some health issues and they stayed blue. Hey, just like Siberian Huskies have. In Siberian Huskies, they're perfectly acceptable. She can smell that milk bar and she says, let me out of here, let me out of here. Brown collar girl is 946 grams. Now you can see Bocce is doing what we call the sit nurse, and this is again a little bit typical of Bocce's personality, where she's trying to angle herself to be available to me more as opposed to figuring out what it is that the puppies need. So I just assist her by popping her over like that, and then what I'll do is I'll reward her when she does actually pay attention to them. So that's our update for today. Please chat with us here on YouTube, ask some questions, leave us some comments. It doesn't matter if it's Labradoodle related, if you have a puppy that's another breed and you've got questions, please feel free to ask. Next week we'll have lots of major developments with the move and also starting on solid food, and expect we'll see some changes in terms of who's biggest and smallest once we get onto the solid food. Normally that's when we see the smaller puppies start to take off. So thank you for watching. We hope you'll join us again next week when you can see all the excitement from them in their new quarters, and you'll see some sticky, messy puppies, most likely as they learn how to lap up some solid food. Thanks so much for watching.